All right, guys. Thank you for joining me tonight. Appreciate it, appreciate it, appreciate it. Like always, welcome to another rant or show, or however this is going to turn out. I think I'm going to be a little more tamed in this episode, I hope. And then we'll see where it goes from there. Now, first and foremost, how do I look? How do I sound? More importantly, how do I sound? Forget how I look. Let's see. All right. What's up? All right. What's up? What's going on, Tennessee? Sound good. All right. Thank you, guys. Very good. Just looking at my mic. So, today's episode, we're going to talk about a couple issues. We're going to talk about the India crisis, though I have mixed feelings about it, but I'm just going to talk about what's going on. I'm not going to put my personal opinion in it, at least not until the angry truth. So here we're just going to talk about what's going on there and how bad it's getting in the whole 9 yards. We're also going to talk about finding the holes in your preps. I know a lot of us found holes in our preps during this whole COVID shit. And what else? And the civil unrest, some of us found where we needed to strengthen our preps, or where we realized what we need more of or less of, right? And then not for nothing, but COVID was also, might have been a setback, might not have been, might have shown where you need to strengthen it. And then we're going to talk about survival mindset, which I've spoken about multiple times before, but we're definitely going to touch on it again because it's one of those things that I think people need to be reminded about. And that should be it for this live stream. And then the angry truth, which is at 10:15, we're going to talk about the CDC guidelines, the 2-tier separation that they built, the science in things, and we might even touch on. Well, no, I'm not gonna. Oh, we might even touch on the Ma'Khia Bryant situation again, just because of what's going on. Not what's going on, but more things I've heard. We might touch on that if we have time. If we don't, fuck them. We'll move back from there. We'll move on from there. Sorry. I'm also trying to see what else I wanted to talk about. So, guys, also one more thing. I started a Telegram account. I know a lot of you guys were talking about heading over there and starting an account, and I did. So for those of you that are interested in Telegram, here's the link. Now, some of you are going to notice the link, and you're going to be like, "What's up with the US at the end?" Well, apparently there's an Angryprepper UK, and then some asshole took Angryprepper before me, and I think that was done on purpose. But whatever, I'm not going to bitch and moan about it. Just making note of it. Also, and Angry Truth tonight at 10:15. We're also going to talk about the no 4th of July Biden sort of hinted at. Not that it was a concrete no, but he definitely hinted at no 4th of July if we don't get vaccinated and yada yada yada. All right. So I also like to talk about the PD situation here. I know that it's, like I said before, it's not as bad as the news made it sound, or I might made it sound. It's not as bad as that, but it has the potential to. Also, I want to talk about standing your ground. Now, I guess I should start with that first. You know what? No, I'm not going to start with that first. I'm going to start with the India issue first, and then we're going to move from there. So, guys, the India crisis right now is out of control. How do I speak on it? The India crisis is out of control, as most of us are following. They had, back in April 21st, they had 300,000 people tested positive for COVID. From that point, I think they had 197 people die from the COVID virus. Now, keep in mind the population there they have a large senior citizen population. Not saying that it outnumbers the youth or the middle age, but they have a large old age population there because their diet is good and they seem to live forever, those people. But with the current crisis over there, they are right now out of beds. They're doubling up on beds. So there are 2 patients per beds in some hospitals. So now imagine waking up and you're next to another dude that you have no clue who he is, if you fell asleep, and now you're waking up to a stranger. Well, you know what a lot of them do? They adapt. They're not pushing people out of the beds. They're not saying, oh, this is my bed only. All they're saying is, they're waking up and they're looking at another dude next to them. So they have no medical resources there. They are tapped out. They're done. So right now, the citizens of India are on their own. And so that lends to prepping medical prepping. After reading what's going on over there, medical preparedness is something I think we should all be stepping up. We might have not have thought about it during last year's whole COVID lockdown, but after looking at India and the shit they're going through, we definitely should talk about medical preparedness. And not just skills, but what to get and how to use it. I think that is a definite field that a lot of us ignore. We ignore medical preparedness. Excuse my looking down. I'm writing it as a note for a video later, and actually to do a video on it later, not a video later. Right, guys? So here's the thing. They have crematoriums. The crematoriums now are all booked up, packed. There's a line in some of them. People are having to burn them on their own. Keep in mind, if you're going to burn bodies, you have to use certain wood, hardwood and hot wood. That's going to bring it up to temperature. You just can't burn a human body. There's actually a skill to it. So with that, they're building small crematoriums to build to burn bodies, basically, right? And their bodies lined up in the hospital hallways. Their bodies lined up outside the hospitals in courtyards and things. So they are definitely seeing a problem. Lucy C. Yes, I saw Canadian Prepper's video on it. I actually did a video on it yesterday, and I'm pretty sure he did it yesterday, the day before, and it's just the timing when it comes out. His video is pretty. He has good explanations, and it's pretty in depth. It's an in-depth video. My video is to the point. You'll see it tomorrow. So my video is straight to the point. But anyway, guys, with that being said, more preppers should be doing videos on this. Just be careful of what you say. That's all, man. We can still do videos on COVID and shit. You just got to, not even careful what you say, careful how you label it. That's all. So I read a story in India where a brother went out to get oxygen for his brother who was having a hard time to breathe. So again, they have a lack of resources there. So the brother takes it upon himself to go look for oxygen. So while he's looking for oxygen, he finds an oxygen tank for sale for $350 for an oxygen tank. They said that was, I think, 300% over the asking price, but he buys it. His brother uses up all the oxygen. He has to go back out and get more. But now to go back and refill that tank, he has to wait on the line. He waits on the line. I think he gets back home, and his brother was in severe distress and winds up dying. So now, guys, here's a bigger part of the whole India crisis that I didn't mention in the video, but it dawned on me when I was reading a couple of articles today. So now, India's crisis that they're going through is a lack of preparedness on the government and to some extent the people. But you can't blame the people 100% on this because they're not preppers. They're not in the prepping mindset. I don't think so. With that, guys, the government wasn't ready for the second wave. So they didn't have the proper resources or enough resources to combat this amount of people coming in. They didn't build makeshift hospitals. They didn't have makeshift tents at the very least right? They didn't order more oxygen tanks and more oxygen supply in. They didn't order more medical supplies. They just acted as if the second wave was going to be that. You know, something that they battled the first time and were able to handle. Now, India has a problem, always had a problem battling flu season there because their medical service is not that great to begin with. Now you're talking about COVID. Now, COVID, whether you believe it or not, something's going on there, guys. And they are getting their asses handed to them. But back to the point of the government not being prepared, this is what happens. This is what happens when you rely on the government. People die. If the government would have got their head out of their ass, they might have been able to save more people. I'm not saying that they was going to save everyone, but they would have undoubtedly been able to save more people. But because of their lack of preparedness and their lack of resources, a lot of people are dying. And now a lot of people are dying in their homes. A lot of people are going to have to be buried by their homes. If not, they're going to have to wait to cremate them, and that could be days, if not weeks later. So here's the problem with the problem with it is now again you're relying on someone else. You're relying on the government. You're relying on the system, and the system in India failed its people. Bottom line, right? So guys, the healthcare crisis that they're having there is definitely an issue. Maybe they'll learn from this. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll be like, yo, if this shit happens again, we got to be better prepared. You got doctors over there who are stressed the hell out. Nurses over there who are stressed the hell out. You got family members losing people left and right. You got kids that are now, I guess, parentless. I think one story, both parents died. I don't know how old the kid was. So you're definitely seeing an issue with this coming up. So guys, what's causing this massive infection, and I won't say die off because again, India has 1 billion people. So right now they're still at the 1% mark death-wise. They're at the 1.12% mark to be exact. And that was as of yesterday, right? Maybe it went up, maybe it went down, who knows? But these are the problems that they're going to see if they don't get ready. And the 1% mortality rate is way better than 2, 3, 4. Actually, it's way better than anything over, I would say, 5%. Keep in mind, they have an old population. Even the senior citizen population there is beating COVID. So, again, I don't sit there and I'm not going to sit there and pretend that this thing is deadly. I'm just saying that it's killing more people because it's affecting more people at once, flooding the hospitals, depleting the medical supplies, and that's why people are dying. People are dying because the medical supplies are lacking. So, anyway, the double variant, let's say, the double variant that hit India. Now, the double variant, what are we in, April? I found out or read about it in February, if I'm not mistaken. So, it took quite a while for it to get to this point. 10 other nations right now are dealing with the double variant, which seems to be more contagious. And they say deadlier, but I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I would use deadlier as the word. I don't know if I would use the word deadlier. Just because, like I said, lack of resources are why people in India are dying, right? So if they had the resources there, they would have saved more people, but not saying they would have saved everyone, right? They had more hospitals, more hospital beds, more oxygen. People might have been better off, right? Sonia Voss. All right, I read double variant. Triple variant would just be something I'd never heard of. But I can look it up, after the video. Right? So, here's the other thing that's also killing them off and why it looks like it's so much. Population density. India has a large population. 1 billion people in that country. A lot of their cities are dense, thick with people. I'm so sure it's so thick you could taste the sweat off the next person. That's how dense it is. So, with population density, you're going to have faster spread, bigger spread, because everyone's on top of each other. There's no social distancing in India. There's no stay in your home. Some of these people are fucking 8 to a home. So there's no way for them to social distance. Right? So we have to keep that in mind. You have to entertain all these reasons why it's spreading so fast and why people are dying. right? And thank you, Randy. Right, high level of poverty as well, right? So we have all of these things going on. That's going to work against them. That's just the bottom line, guys. It's not like it's not as yes, COVID is definitely playing a role, but all the things I mentioned previously are a huge factor in the reason why these people are dying. Now, an article in New York Times, a doctor was stating that as well. So while I was having this discussion with the wife earlier today, I later read an article saying that the doctor was thinking that that's one of the reasons. And it's not to think, it makes sense. This is what's killing them. When you start hearing the stories about there's no beds, there's no oxygen, when you start hearing the stories that there's no one to attend to anybody because the doctors and nurses are busy. So this is what's going to wind up killing you, the lack of help. Right? So it's, again, guys, it's a problem for them. Do I see us going through a double variant this bad? No. We're not nearly as dense. Our healthcare system is a lot better. I think it's fortified. I think doctors know also how to treat it. That was the other thing. So many people died because doctors didn't know how to treat it, right? So it was mistreatment that killed a lot of people. Then when they got better knowledge of COVID, they were able to treat it better. And then you notice the death rate now is extremely low here in the United States. Well, Raging Rhino, I would say fear porn to a point. COVID is real. There are people out there that keep saying it's not real. I tell people all the time, ride in an ambulance or spend a day in a hospital, then you tell me whether or not it's real. It's fake, right? It's fake doesn't make sense because it doesn't jive with the numbers of people that died last year. The EMS, FD, and PD all responded to more medical calls than the previous year, 2019. Right? So if you do the math and you do the research and you're just using simple logic, sitting in an ambulance going, holy shit, man, we've been on 21 runs this fucking tour. 21. Versus last year this time, they did 8. So there's definitely a difference. Something's going on, right? So, I mean, listen, guys, you could think it's fake all you want. You got to put your money where your mouth is. If you think it's that fake, go to a COVID hospital or a hospital that has COVID patients and then tell me how fake it is. That's all I can tell you. The ignorance level with it being fake. Now, listen, you want to talk about, the Great Reset and Agenda 21 and all that other shit. I'm in on that. But to sit there and say that this thing is fake, it's mind-boggling. Now, is it as deadly as they're making it sound? Absolutely not. It is not deadly like they keep fear porning in the news about it. They're sitting there like 99% survival rate. I'll take my chances, right? You have a better chance of getting hit by a car in New York City than you do dying of COVID, right? So with that, guys, I'll take my chances fucking with COVID than walking across the street, which I do every day. Point is, guys, COVID's not real, but COVID's not as deadly as they make it sound. And I hate to say this, but it's deadly for those with underlying conditions. It's deadly for those who have a weak immune system. It's just how it is, guys. Yes, we have some oddball healthy people that die off, but I bet you if you looked into those healthy people, they had an underlying condition they were unaware of. And like I said before, guys, multiple times, I have been exposed to COVID on multiple levels. No mask on. Actually, I'll say this much. My last travel nurse prepper, thank you for the donation. My last interaction with a COVID patient, or COVID person, sorry, the guy was COVID positive, and I did not have a mask on, and I was standing probably 2-3 feet away from him. Right, and then at some point, I went to help him get in the stretcher. So now, this call wasn't on the job, right? So that was interesting. It was just somebody that I saw in the street, helped out, whatever. And guys, I've been exposed to it too many times, just way too many times. At home, at work, with people on the street, exposure. and positive exposure. So here I am still sitting here without COVID. Like I said, not as deadly as they're making it sound. As far as contagious wise, obviously it's contagious, but like I said before, I don't have bitch blood, right? So that's that. Now, we're going to switch gears a little bit. I was going to talk about this last, but I'm going to talk about this next. Standing your ground. Now, I don't know whether to put this on the Angry Truths channel or the Angryprepper channel. The only reason why I'm talking about standing your ground, because I know that a lot of people were saying, Jason or Angryprepper, you need to move out of New York City, you need to leave, it's getting bad. But I'm like, why should we keep running, right? Why on God's green earth, so every time a neighborhood gets bad or a city gets bad, we should leave. We should uproot our family and go. And then what? The liberals follow us, right? The liberals follow us, and they move to the state that we were trying to get away from them from. And then they turn that state into a liberal hellhole. And then we move out of that state, and we move again. Are we going to keep moving from liberals, or are we going to stand our ground and fight with them? Meet them, not meet them in the street, but meet them politically in the street, if you will. The running around and the moving and getting away from them it's enough. We can't keep moving, because if you keep moving from liberals, guys, we're going to end up in a fucking corner, and it's called Florida. And we all can't fit in Florida. So at some point, suffice it to say, we have to stand and fight. I get getting out of the city for my family and my kids, but at some point, you have to stand your ground and fight. You have to do something. And someone's asking me, what is bitch blood? Bitch blood is for those who have caught COVID, and it's a joking manner, but some people are going to take it seriously and start crying about it and, smash their computer. I just said that I don't have bitch blood because I wasn't taken down by COVID. That's what it means. If you're going to be upset with it, such is life. I don't know what to tell you. For those of you that are new to this channel, by the way, you're being warned, guys. I curse, all right? And I say some shit that might sound fucked up to you. But this is not a channel for pussies. So if you are a pussy, do me a favor and just shut it off right now. Because you could get your feelings hurt by some shit that I said. I'm just forewarning you, because I know a lot of people, they want to be fake angry and they want to be victimized. So they'll say, he said bitch blood. He's referring to me because I had COVID. I have bitch blood. And then there it goes. Then someone's going to start crying. Okay? So if you're new to this channel, either get used to the cursing and deal with it, or bounce. Right? Take your liberal tears and go somewhere else, because this isn't the fucking channel. Anyway, guys. So back to standing your ground, guys. At what point do we stand our ground? New York City has been a liberal cesspool forever. I get it, but at what point do I just stop? I'm like, fuck this. We're not leaving. We're gonna fucking, we're gonna fight these guys every step of the way. We're gonna help these Republicans in this city win the election. At what point do we just fucking stand up? Right? So I don't know, if leaving is now listen, one reason why I want to leave the city, the one reason only, it's not to get away from the liberals, because they're like a cancer. They're everywhere. But it's to own my own shit. It's to own my own house. That's all it is. So that's why I want to move. I just want to own my own piece of land and my home, and that's why I don't want to leave for any other reason. This is turning into a liberal cesspool, but nonetheless, man, you could still fight these assholes. We can't keep running from them, right? The Californians, liberal Californians, are moving to Arizona because California's fucked up now, because those assholes made it that way. Now they want to fucking, move to another place and infect that area. Well, guys, it's up to us to shut those assholes down. That's the bottom line. You're not going to sit here and fucking let them fuck your shit up and then cry about it. Either you put up or you shut up. Right? So I'm the next, mayor race, I'm obviously voting for a Republican who can fix the city. I'm not voting for him just because he's... Yeah. When it shuts off like that, that's what happens. All right, guys. Thank you for sticking with me if you're still there. So YouTube is on to him now. Dina Walters. Carol Cook. No, my internet has bitch blood. I don't have bitch blood. But no, so the internet shut off. It wasn't believe it or not, guys, it wasn't YouTube. It was the internet. The internet, since we switched over to this Spectrum new bullshit, it's been acting funny. So no, it wasn't YouTube for a change. I thought it was, but everyone else got kicked off. So yeah, my internet has bitch blood, or bitch connections, if you will. All right, so what the hell was I talking about? Oh, standing your ground. Thank you. And if I sound good, thank you guys. X-Jet Tech, appreciate that. So, guys, listen. Yeah, Joey Jennings. Yeah, fucking Spectrum, man. Blowjobs, whatever. They're probably gonna kick me off again for that. Who gives a fuck? But anyway, thank God I'm back. Hopefully the connection is still on the same stream, so that's good. That's not bad. Model railroading. It was my internet connection. It wasn't anybody else. It was actually me. So anyway, now the wind's picking up outside. Maybe that's what it was. So guys, standing your ground. That is something we are going to need to do at some point. We can't just up and leave every time liberals infect some shit. Right? It's all it is. That's all it is. Whatever, man. I mean, like I said, I want to move for different reasons. For prepping reasons is why I want to leave. Yes, Sinavit. Yeah, definitely on the Spectrum. That's for sure. And Mike Reese, thank you for the donation, man. I appreciate it. Thanks. Right? So, guys, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what more else to say about that. I didn't know where to put this. All right. It's raining outside because the knuckleheads are hanging out in front of the building. So the rain is dampening their parade. So great. Now they got to go to fuck home. Fucking people, man. I sorry. Hey, listen. That's another reason why I want to leave, because I just don't like the amount of people here in the city. But it's not about, the bullshit. It's about the amount of people here and just the around the area. All right, guys. So, Christian prepper. All right. So anyway, guys, that's all I'm going to say about that on the standing your ground. I just don't know, at what point do we stay and fight, right? And that's what I mean by standing your ground. I mean, not like, you got some shit going on, and someone's attacking your bug out location. Yeah, that's standing your ground. But this standing your ground is different. It's just, do we leave or do we fight these assholes? I don't know. So, well, Mike, thank you again for the donation, man. All right, man. Have a good night. Thank you again. So, guys, moving right along. We got a half hour left, so got to see if this thing doesn't fucking, go all bitch out on me. But survival mindset. Now, the survival mindset, it's not a hard subject. I think this is an interesting subject because I think a lot of preppers don't have the survival mindset. Right now, I hung out with a bunch of preppers from Bug Out Bag Weekend that I went on a trip with Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival. So Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival, if you don't know who that is, check out his YouTube channel, guys. The guy's squared away. The guy's a good dude. So now, meeting him, me and him have been talking for months via text messaging and shit like that. We met once a couple months ago, and I could just tell that he was a good dude. But now, meeting him and watching him run his operation out there, the guy's squared away, right? So anyway, head over to his channel and like and subscribe to that. NY Prepper, he also stopped by. Greg, he stopped by as well. Greg is he's an interesting guy. I like him. I like him. He's an interesting guy, and he shoots it straight. That's the one thing I like about him. He'll fucking tell you in a heartbeat, you know what? What he thinks. So he was out there as well. And it was cool, hanging out with these guys, like in person, and getting to know them and watching them move, watching them talk to all the people. I thought that was pretty impressive. So again, the bug out bag weekend, he's gonna have more, and I'm hoping he opens it up a little more, because I think the diverse group of people that were there were awesome, and I think the diverse group, it was pretty good. It was pretty on the level. And again, Old Mutt was there. So Old Mutt being there, that's another guy who's really good at his shit. So yes, guys, the brick wall's moving because the rain came and now the wind's blowing through. I am 1,000% sure, because my window's open behind me, shit's getting soaked, but such is life. It'll dry off, right? So anyway, that was something that was cool, and we're definitely going to do it again. And I think the live stream that Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival, his name is Mike, the live stream we did, I think was cool because it was by a fireplace. We were outside and we were just having fun. And the interview was in person, so, Sheila, it's Hudson Valley Survival, Prepping and Survival, sorry. Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival. Check out his YouTube page. If I have any mods on here, if you could throw the link in, see if you could throw the link in again. See what happens. Other than that, I'll throw it in the description section below after the video. So, moving right along to survival mindset. So, the people that I hung out with that weekend, they all had a very good survival mindset. These people were willing to camp distances away from one another. Guys were trying new shit, setting up shelters. They were trying different things. So, though it was a bug out bag weekend, people also brought some gear with them that they can test out. And that's the beauty about bug out bag weekends, guys. It's something like I run something similar to that. Well, I run something exactly like that, bug out bag weekend. But we move away from the car, right? So first level is you stay 25 yards away from the car. But second level is we hike in a mile or two to the next destination, and we camp out there for the night. David Workman, I'm not sure how many fucks I said. Somebody wants to keep count moving forward, by all means. But the thing with preppers, guys, and fake survivalists is that you are not going to know who you are until you are in a situation, or you at least trained in that kind of a situation, right? So, for example, there are a lot of guys out there that seem to think they're Navy SEALs. They think that they're going to get down and take dudes out like special forces. They are absolutely not going to fucking get to that level. They're just not. If you never trained like that, you've never been in a high-speed situation, you've never been in a stressful environment, you are not going to know. Right? It's that simple. And people seem to have this false notion of themselves and the abilities they have. This is where the training comes in handy. And you have to practice a lot of this shit. You have to put yourself in fucked up situations, right? And I put myself in more situations than I care to be in. But I had to see if I can survive the night. I had to see if I can do it. I had to see if I could build a shelter in the dead of cold and survive the night. I had to see if I could set that fire in front of me and keep it going through the night and hopefully wake up the next morning. I had to put myself in that situation. And you could read about it till you're blue in the face. You could absolutely YouTube the hell out of this shit until your eyes fall out of your head. You have to get out there and do it, and you have to test yourself. Testing your, DDN, testing your equipment is very important, but testing your skills and your mental fortitude is what's more important. If you can test your mental fortitude, if you could test your mental, your mentality in a stressful environment, and you put yourself in that environment and you're still willing to stick it out, you have mental toughness. Mental toughness, guys, does not come out of the blue. You either have it or you don't. And if you don't have it, you can definitely train for it. But if you don't have it, never train for it, when the time comes, you might crumble. You might fold like origami. You have to train, and you have to test yourself. Nick Leonard, absolutely. I had to go out and camp by myself to see if I can do it. I've done it with people multiple times, but I've done 2-3 nights by myself, and it's a very interesting experience when you go out by yourself. Very interesting experience. You are now on your own. You are now dependent on yourself, not dependent on anybody else. And with that, guys, that's how you find out who you are. You find out whether or not you're a coward, or you find out whether or not you can tough it out. Southern Belle, no, she hasn't. She has not done any test runs with me. You know what? I don't think she would. We've gone camping a couple times, that's for sure, and she's not a fan of it. But to get them out there again, I was thinking about doing it this fall. And just seeing how they handle it, and then leaving them out there and fucking dipping back home. No, just kidding. But I would like to take them out there more and have them, do some survival nights, stay out in the camp, depending on their own gear. But right now, I was doing it on my own. I did Dave Canterbury Survival School. His survival school, guys, believe it or not, the basic course is pretty tough, but his next 2 courses after that are absolutely tough. And so with that, I remember Dave Canterbury's the last course I took with him, I was seeing shit. I couldn't, I was seeing things, and I remember I was talking to what I thought was my wife, but it was a tree. But I kept moving forward. I kept dealing with the situation. I was dehydrated. I was fucking hungry, and then I just kept going. And then when I passed out for a couple of hours, I passed out. I got up, and I kept, and me and my buddy, we kept doing it. Yeah, my internet is acting up tonight. That's for sure. So, whatever. We'll deal with it until it shuts down again. And if it shuts down again, I'm just going to continue this on the Angry Truth channel. Right? That's all. So anyway, guys, it's just, you have to put yourself in a situation. There's a group called Go Rock. It's not a group, it's a company. And Go Rock is another company that tests your mental fortitude. It's run by ex-Special Forces guys that put you through the ringer. Some of them are even active. And they put you through the ringer, man. They make you do shit you didn't think you can do. You suffer the entire time. They have a 6-hour course. They have a 12-hour course. They have a 24-hour course. Then you can mix and match and do 48. And then they have their version of Hell Week. I forgot what that was called. And only one person, like I think a year or 2 people a year, can do their version of Hell Week, which is like some crazy shit, like 3 straight days or something like that. So you take those courses, guys, you will find out very fast how tough you are. If you take yourself and you go camping in minus fucking 20-degree weather, and you go, you know what, I'm going to tough this shit out, I'm going to build a shelter and see if I can survive, and you survive, you know that your mental toughness is there. You know that you have confidence in your skill. So it's about skill building as well, guys. Build your skill. Tomorrow, go out and just fucking, camp. Take a tent out there with you. Don't build a shelter right out of the gates. Take your time. Take your camping. Take all the shit you think you're gonna need and go out camping. Get used to the environment. Get used to the outdoors. Then you start dwindling your gear. You start taking shit away. You start taking shit you didn't use, you didn't need, and then you work that way. And then you get down to something called a haversack. Now, a haversack is an old school bag or man purse, if you will, with survival gear in it. And then you try to survive out of that for a night. My next challenge is my survival belt. Just my survival belt. Go out into the woods with my camera and my survival belt, and that's it. And see if I can survive the night in that. Or 2. Just using what's on my belt. That's my next challenge. Right? So, with that, guys, I did a bug-out vest weekend where I went out in a bug-out vest. And a bug-out vest is gear that's on your person. So, it's no bag. It's a vest and it's a blanket roll. That's it. And I did one of those weekends with a bunch of guys, and we survived the night. I had to go somewhere. Actually, 2 nights. Sorry, survived the 2 nights with that. And that was an interesting weekend, right? But these are things you need to do. You need to test yourself at every step of the way. And then there's just using your knife. No survival belt, just a knife on your hip. Head out into the woods and see if you can survive the night. These are all things, and then even with survival night, guys, you can do it in stages. That doesn't mean grab a knife and head out into the woods. That means grab a knife, head out into the woods for a day trip, and see if you can get a fire started just using a knife. Right? See if especially if you have not a ferro rod, but a flint and steel. Right? See if you can start a fire with just that and a knife. Right? If you can't, see how you can get. I know there's one way you can get a knife, a fire starter with just flint, not steel. So that means you got to find a piece of rock that's harder than 7, usually by a riverbed. By a riverbed or right on the edge of a river or creek. That rock is normally harder than normal. Sorry. And then you can hit that against your knife and start a fire. These are things you can do in stages on your own until you have enough confidence to go and do it overnight. If you could build a fire, it's off. If you could set a trap just using your knife, you're squared. You could build a shelter just using your knife, even better. Levels, guys, levels. Don't mean to go out and do it all at once. Right? So your survival mindset is what's going to carry you through any situation. Mental toughness is going to carry you through all the situations. Right? So there were a couple of books. I wish I could remember them off the top of my head, but I can't. So give me a second to see if I can find them. Let's see, survival. So, again, it's which calls acting shitty. Matter of fact, I can't right now think of any of them. But when I do, Survival Theory, a preparedness guide. That was one. The Green Beret Survival Guide. Those are survival guide books. But you need to read mental toughness books, guys. Books that are going to give you the idea of how to make it through hard times. Deep Survival, Who Lives, Who Dies, and Why, by Lawrence Gonzalez. That's a very good survival book. Those books, guys, it breaks you open into wanting to be tougher. When you read about some special forces guys getting shit done that would be other words impossible, but they got it done because they had the mental fortitude to do it. You hear guys in Iwo Jima who held off Japanese attacks on guns by themselves, manning guns by themselves, getting shot and still fucking getting into the fight, right? That's the kind of shit that we all want to be made of. Those guys find out quick and fast who they are in that situation. But what us in this day and age, we could find out who we are and build to be a tougher person by attending these courses, right? It's not to sit there and say, and listen, some of us are going to find out sooner or later. Some of us are going to find out in the street, right? Some of us are going to fucking find out going camping. You read those stories of people who were lost in the wilderness and they're lost for days, if not weeks, months on end. They come walking out like shit didn't happen to them. Mental toughness. They didn't give up. They didn't get into the middle of the woods, get lost, and go, fuck, I'm dead. Right? There was an old lady a year ago, 2 years ago. She was found in the woods dead. She got lost, and she camped she wanted to take a leak off the trail, and she forgot where she was. She got turned around, and she wound up dying in the forest about 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, might have been. And instead of her just packing her shit every night and moving, she didn't do that. She stayed still. Well, guess what, guys? When they found her, I think 100 yards off the trail. She was right there. It was a football field away, actually. But that's still close enough in the grand scheme. So with that, guys, her mental toughness or survival mindset wasn't there, because I would have been packing my shit and moving on. I must have missed something. But anyway, Everyone's like, time to be safe, time to be safe. I'd like to know what that was, but I can't find it. That's someone will fill me in later. Hopefully, someone will fill me in later. Francesca, yes, you could definitely practice on stitches on pigs. We did that before one of our emergency preparedness retreat weekends. We did that years ago. I'm hoping to get somebody who knows how to stitch to do it this fall because we're going to have an emergency preparedness retreat weekend this fall. I just got to set it up. All right, guys. So we have 10 minutes left, which is good. That'll put us at the that'll put us in a good place. All right, guys. So finding the holes in your preps. Now, I don't think we didn't go over this. We're going to go over this now for the next 10 minutes. I know a lot of us found out real fast when COVID hit how well prepared we were. Now, mentally, I think a lot of us were prepared. But seeing the walls close in on us, if you will, with the shutdowns and people running to the stores, I think some of us were like, shit, should I run to the stores too? Some of us did, right? I know I did. And when I did it and I came back, I'm like, I didn't need to do it. But I still got more shit, right? And then I stopped doing that and I just started going to the stores in between and collecting more shit. This definitely had me rethink where my storage unit is. My storage unit is too far away, right? It's in God's country, if you ask me. It's actually 3 miles from here, and that's walking distance. If I walk there and back, that's 6 miles. That means 6 miles to grab preps and come back. That's not good. So I got to find a closer storage unit. Did COVID set me back? No, it didn't. It actually found all the holes in my prep and made me more aware of what I needed to do, like a solar generator. Now, for those of you that saw my Instagram page, some of you now know that I was sent a Jackery solar generator. I haven't opened the box yet. I am opening it up this weekend. I'm going to test it out. That was something I realized I needed if the power went out. If this thing got bad and guys were sick and they weren't going to the power plant and they weren't manning the power correctly, this was something I would have needed. When that power outage happened last year downtown for part of Manhattan, was it last year or the year before last, I would have needed something. Well, now I have something. I have a power generator, right? A solar generator at that, which is the only thing we could run here in the city, in apartments, that is. It's a solar generator, right? Can't run gas for the obvious reasons. So I started seeing the holes in my preps, and now I'm starting to secure those holes. The last hole that I need to secure is firearms. So the Supreme Court thing that's going down this week, I think it is, we have to wait and see what the finding is going to be. But if I can get firearms, I'm square biz, man. We're good. City preppers are squared away. We're all good if this shit goes down according to us, in our favor. Sorry, if it goes down in our favor. So, like I said, COVID set some people back. I think some people had to go through their preps, those who lost their jobs, because if you were a waiter, waitress, you worked in the hospitality industry, you probably lost your job, and you probably didn't get it back for a long period of time. So you didn't have money, so you had to dive into your preps. People understood real fast how fast they went through their preps. The other thing this made me do, and I hope it made you guys do this, is that it made you figure out how much preps you need in real time. So now that you either gone through it or you looked at the amount of food you were eating, you're like, shit, I need more food per day because of what we went through. Because we were home. We weren't outside. We didn't have anything break up the monotony, right? So if you want to keep that in the back of your head for next time, you're going to have more food. Now you should be calculating how much food you eat a day, how much water you drink a day, how much toilet paper you went through in a day, how much, medical gear you went through in a month. These are things you should be calculating along the way right now, because that was the holes I had. I didn't realize how much food we went through, how much water we were drinking until it was time. Granted, you're like, 2 gallons of water a day. 2 gallons of water a day was enough for the winter months, but when it started getting hot, 2 gallons of water a day was cutting it close. So with that, man, I learned all right, we're going to have to store more water, right? And that's per person. Keep that in mind, guys. Pagan Roots. Yes, I have a 4-season tent. I don't have a camper. I have access to a camper, but I don't have a camper. Um, that would be great. But then you have to attach it to a car, and that's if I can get my car out of the city. So I'd rather bug out on foot. So I'm hoping to do a bug out weekend on my own, where I actually bug out from the city. So I leave from New York and walk upstate New York as a drill on my own. I'm not gonna, drag them through it. Um, but I definitely want to get that done. I want to. I guess I got to pick a week, and that's the week I do it. Obviously, I'm going to do it on a slower week because it needs to be conducive, like traffic and shit like that. Or maybe I do it during the weekend where there's traffic out the ass and I'm walking out of the city. I haven't decided yet, but I already picked out my route. I already picked out where I need to sleep off for the night before getting to my end destination. The walk should take me 2 days. At the very worst, 3 days. But I'm hoping to push 2. So that's 15 miles one day, 16, 17 miles the next day. So how that turns out. I'm only going to be using my GoPro for that video, and I might do a live stream on the phone each night I stop. Might, but like I said, that's something that I worked out the routing. Now I just gotta fucking figure out a day to do it and leave. Um, Yes, I know you can't carry everything. That's why I stick to the 16Cs or the 17Cs. Sorry. So that's what I'm going with, and that's what I'm carrying out with me. And then, like I said, I'm going to learn a lot during that walk. I'm going to learn whether or not my feet fall off. I'm going to learn whether or not I needed everything in a bag. You know, it's got to be done. It's something that we should all do. But nobody wants to do it because it's something hard. And I can guarantee you when I'm done, I'm undoubtedly going to be taxed. Because I never walked that much. I mean, I walked 3 miles to work. Back, that's 6. Okay, I definitely can. All right, guys. I'm just going to wrap this up right now. The what you call is giving me shit. If this happens on the Angry Truth channel just once, the stream is going to end. So I'm going to start up the Angry Truth in 5 minutes. So again, sorry for the bullshit internet problems, but then my camera also just shit the bed. That's why the video looks the way it does. So anyway, see you guys over there. Thank you for joining me tonight, following along, and hopefully you guys got something out of this stupid fucking bullshit issue I'm having with the internet. All right, guys. So see you guys over at the Angry Truth channel in 5 minutes.